In this tutorial for new Blender users, I'll show you how easy it is to set up simple fluids within Blender, and then you can get to changing things from there. So I have a sphere in the scene, the plane, a couple of lights. Importantly, I'm set to texture mode because I'm in solid mode. It doesn't look near as exciting. And also, if I press N to bring up the properties window, under this tab here for display, I'm set to GLSL because by default it's at multi-texture, which also is not that exciting. So that really helps make your scene look nice when you're working. Okay, so all I need is this in the scene, just a basic object in the scene. So I can go over here to Object and come up here to these Quick Effects, and then come down to Quick Fluid. So when I do that, it actually does something to this object. One, if I come over here to this panel right here, it adds a fluid to this. So it's this fluid type, and it's called fluid. All right, and then if I also look here, it adds a fluid domain. Now where's my fluid domain? Somehow it says it's at the bottom down here. Yeah, well that's from a previous lesson, so you can ignore that for a second while I'm going to just rebake it. There's my domain like that. I'm going to escape that. So when you hit it, you're going to come up with this square box like that. This cube. And basically what that is, I'll go into wireframe mode with Z, and this is your domain. And under this same tab, you'll see it's set as a domain, and this will be the resolution 65 when you actually render it, and it runs over the course of 4 seconds. That's the starting and ending time. And then what you usually do is you usually bake it, which basically pre-calculates the fluid simulation, and then after the fluid simulation is calculated, then you can actually do a rendering of it. So you have to have your fluid contained within the boundaries of the domain. Okay, and so with that there, I'll click the domain and I'll just press bake. And 65 is fair. That's about the minimum resolution you need to make it start looking like anything decent. So this won't take that long, so I'll just bake it for a second. If it takes too long, I'll pause the video during the editing and come back. But you can see where it's starting. And there it is up here running the whole thing. And then this preview, this is an important button, the preview versus the geometry, like this, the way you actually see it. Okay, I'm back. The bake is finished. That took about 45 seconds or so, maybe a little bit longer to bake it. And then once it's baked, you can press Alt A, and you can see the effects of the fluid that fast. So 65 is a pretty nice resolution. You can see how quick it is in here. It works quite well. All right, so let me go into another mode. There we go. And back in render mode. But what we really want is we want to be able to render. So let's see what a rendering would look like. So in order to do a rendering, let's go, you see this preview versus the geometry. If you go to the geometry, then you can see this domain box again. In preview mode, you're just seeing the resulting of the bake. So with the reason you select the geometry is this is actually where you select your materials. You would think you would do it on the fluid, but you do it on the geometry. So if I just go give it a basic material, oh, it actually sets up a basic material when you do it. So let's do something else. Let's bring up N and come up here and lock the camera to the view. And I'm going to press 0 on the numpad, and now I'm in my camera view. And now I scroll wheel back, kind of position it there, and then I'm going to unlock it. That way my camera is set there because that's going to be the view when I render. So I'm going to press F12. And there it is rendered. So let's go see up here. Let's render it up at this level. There's the fluid there. There's the fluid there. Pretty fast renderings, right, for that quick test. In fact, let's see if we can do this. Let's go into... no, that's not going to work. Let's just Alt-A. No, I'll just do that there. F12. I was going to do a full rendering, but that's still going to take a while. But you can see, just by doing that it works quite well and quite fast. Alright, so if you want to change the settings, these are really where you set them. They've done a pretty good job of setting up the fluid in advance to make it look nice. And alright, well that'll help you get started. And I have more advanced tutorials on fluids. If you look around in my playlist, just go to my Sci-Fi Animator channel, and I have all kinds of playlists for videos. Alright, well that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.